Why, hello, and welcome to Spoiler Piece Theater, the podcast that doesn't give a shit about spoilers. We just want to talk about the movies. My name is Dave Riedel. My pronouns are he, him. I yap about movies, and I'm a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association.
My name is Evan Crean. My pronouns are he, him. I'm co-chair of the Boston Online Film Critics Association, co-author of your 80s Movie Guide to Better Living, and co-host of the It's the Pictures podcast.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this week we've got a big swinging dick movie to review. And I say big swinging dick all the time, but this time it is kind of appropriate. The swinging part.
Yeah, the swinging for sure.
The swinging. But before we get into that, I wanted to let you know that over on Ye Old Patreon, because Sam Neill left us earlier in July, we had a Sam Neill poll, and the movie that you chose, which is not really a Sam Neill movie, but he's a memorable role in it, The Hunt for Red October, ran away with the poll this month. And so please, if you're a patron, go listen to that. And if you're not a patron, please consider becoming one. It's $5 a month. You get all the blah, blah, blah. We've been talking about this for a fucking more than a decade, so you should know what you get by now. Anyway, that being said, I want to take a moment to thank our sponsor piece patron, Heather Sachs. Heather, thank you for being our sponsor piece patron. We love it.
Thanks, Heather.
And so, on the show tonight, the big swinging dick movie is, of course, Spider Boner, Brand New Day. Because, big swinging dick. Spider-Man.
I see what you did there.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man, Brand New Dong. There you go. Spider-Man.
Spider Dick. Spider Dick. No, let's not do
Wiener Man. Wiener Man spins a web. Yeah. Okay, so Spider-Man, Brand New Day is the first new Spider-Man movie in first Peter Parker Spider-Man movie in 5 years. We've had a couple of Miles Morales movies, both of them quite fine. The first one, finer, but the second one, no slouch.
Mm-hmm.
But if you recall the events of the last Tom Holland Spider-Man, I think that was in 2021, and was that No Way Home? Is that what that one's called?
I believe so.
Yeah, it's the one where Spider-Man, because he's an idiot, he kind of fucks up everything and everyone thinks he's an asshole. And so to protect Ned and MJ and all the people he loves from knowing that he's a douche, he has Doctor Strange make everybody forget who he is. Now, you would think that Doctor Strange could just do a new spell where the only people who know who Spider-Man is are MJ and Ned, but I guess that's not true. In this movie, the bulk of it is about Peter wrestling with having been alone without his best friend and his girlfriend for the last 5 years, and he's been cyber-stalking them on Instagram.
Yep.
Cyber-stalking Ned. I think MJ probably doesn't have an Instagram. That would be my guess.
Yeah, he's just watching all of Ned's videos that MJ randomly appears in occasionally because they both end up going to MIT and then end up living together. They move back to New York.
Yeah, they move back to New York and get an apartment together because it's very hard to make friends as an adult. So why not keep your high school friends and live with them at college and in New York City? And good on you for not going back to Queens, kids, even though you probably should have because it's considerably cheaper, although your apartment would not have been as cool. And at first I thought this apartment is way too fucking cool to be like affordable for people this age just getting out of college. But then there is a wider shot of it later, and it's actually kind of shitty.
Yeah, so it's kind of a dump.
So it's actually it does sort of work out. Having lived in many, many New York City apartments, I can tell you they come in all shapes and sizes, but the more money you have, the cleaner they become. So that's one thing they all have in common. Man, Evan, you should have seen this one apartment I lived in. 89th and 2nd, a true shithole, a dump. My grandfather once said to me, Dave, how's that apartment in New York? And I said, this is 5 minutes after it's Christmas. It's 5 minutes after my parents were like, now just remember, it's Christmas, try not to drop so many F-bombs. I was like, you got it. Dave, how's the apartment in New York? Grampy, I can't live on that fucker anymore. So, yeah.
Oops.
Never seen my dad laugh so hard in my life. So anyway, Tom Holland is again Spider-Man. Zendaya is MJ. Mark Ruffalo is the Hulk. John Berthal has a sizable supporting role as Frank Castle.
The Punisher.
The Punisher. I don't remember the detective that he's on the phone with all the time being in the last Spider-Man movie, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't remember that either. It's possible that that's just the dynamic that they introduced with this movie.
Yeah. Marissa Tomei shows up in a couple scenes, which is nice considering they killed her off in the last Spider-Man movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice to see Mark Ruffalo, although I don't know how much the Hulk really works in this, but
I think he is entirely written in just so we can have the plot where Spider-Man sees his inhibitor and goes, "Oh, I should use an inhibitor to inhibit my spider DNA." And then we have it like, "Oh, he invented the inhibitor so we can apply that to X-Men," because of course we're just going to, because we're spoiler piece, we're going to tell you that the villain of this movie is none other than Jean Grey. And she's using her telepathic powers, and Spider-Man comes up with the inhibitor and he's gonna like slap it on her to stop her,
which he does,
but
then someone removes it,
then he regrets it. But Mark Ruffalo and the Hulk, I feel like, don't even need to be in this movie at all, in my opinion.
I feel like that's the kind of thing that Peter could have invented on himself, could have invented himself with Evie's help, right?
He's a smart guy, and that's one of the things that bothers me about this movie is like Peter is a smart guy, but it takes him this whole fucking movie. It takes him way too fucking long to realize, hey, maybe I need people. Maybe I'm stronger having a support system, even though the people who love me are in some amount of danger. Maybe that's better than trying to go it alone. It takes him way too long to figure that out. And I'm like, for such a smart guy, I don't think he's that much of a dolt.
I don't know. I mean, Spider-Man is kind of a dipshit, It's one of the things that makes him Spider-Man. He's just like, he's really bright, but he's stupid, I mean, you remember what a dum-dum, who's the doofus who played him first? Tobey Maguire. Remember what a doofus his Peter Parker was? Super doofus.
Such a doofus.
Yeah, especially when they got to the dancing evil Peter Parker in the third one. Still never understand why Sam Raimi thought that was a good idea.
Yeah. I try to shut that one out of my head.
Yeah.
The third one.
Well, this movie is significantly better than Spider-Man 3. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But I will say it does have something in common with it in that this movie has a lot of plot. I mean, I think this is the longest of the Spider-Man movies. Clocks in at 2 hours and 25 minutes. Because we were watching it and I looked at my watch at one point, which I only did because I was like, this has got to be over. I wasn't bored. It wasn't like one of those checks. It was just more like, this has got to be over, right? I mean, gee, like we just sent Jean Grey to the thing and it was 8:48. And I was like, oh, but I feel like we got a lot of movie left. And we did. We had 40 minutes of movie left because after they send Jean Grey to like detention or whatever you want to say it, then Peter's got to break her out and then she's got to try to kill him. And then he's got to convince her, no, don't kill me because I was wrong about you. And then you're like, oh, it's Sadie Sink. Jean Grey's a redhead? I didn't know that. So pretty sure that Famke Janssen is not a redhead. So
yeah.
Evan.
Yes.
Let's go through the plot. So we went up to the part where Peter's cyber stalking Ned.
Right. Yeah. He's full-time fighting crime. He's working, coordinating with the cops and showing up, saving the day. There's a news story that says, crime is way down thanks to Spider-Man. Great. Awesome. And then he's also, so the beginning of I think before the thing with his powers, what happens is there's this crazy like runaway tank that's running through the city and he's trying to stop it. He's having a really hard time. and then he bumps into the Punisher, who's just trying to blow the thing away, and they get into kind of a scuffle, and there's an allusion to like, oh, I saved your ass before in Staten Island, Frank, and you can't just shoot your way out of every problem. So he ends up knocking Punisher out of the game in the chase, and the armored car crashes through a detention center, which has the Scorpion. Michael Mando is there. But then, there's some type of villain who's jumping from people's minds. And so he's watching the villain like jump from person to person and help the chopper get away with Scorpion on it. And he's like, what the fuck is going on here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is crazy. And the villain tries to jump inside his head, Spider-Man's head, but he's able to quickly kick them out.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, he goes to the Department of Damage Control, which is run by Tremel Tillman, who I love in Severance, and I was really excited to see him here playing a similar corporate villain. And he's putting on a very like nice face, like, oh yeah, Spider-Man, great, thanks for coming in. We're so glad to have your help on this. We got to catch this villain. And then Spider-Man sees the ninjas, the hand, and Tremel Tillman's like, oh yeah, they used to be villains, but now they work for us and they're good guys. And like, I'm all about like turning things that are dangerous into an opportunity to like create or something like it. I forget the exact line he says, but it's something to that effect. Like, I take things that, other people consider destructive and use them as an opportunity to create. So, but you're like they're come on, they're fucking red ninjas. Like,
yeah,
they can't really be good.
Right.
And let's see. So what else is going on in the movie? Yeah, he's still kind of like stalking them. He's starting to cross paths with them. He gets, really upset because he ends up going to like a party, their housewarming party. And he just gets really upset at the fact that he's like around them, but can't tell them who he is and can't be with them.
And MJ has a boyfriend.
And so he's having this issue where like the arachnid part of his DNA is coming out more and more, and that's leading to unstable situations. So first of all, he's starting to naturally make his own like webbing, which is like fucking up his web shooters, which have like bombs in them and stuff. So he's like accidentally blowing himself up.
Mm-hmm.
And then also he's like losing control of himself in situations, and he almost kills a cop when he's fighting Scorpion during one of his like outbursts. Yep. And so what the fuck happens after that?
Well, his eyes turn black when he loses his
he looks more like a spider. So then he gets to work on the inhibitor thing. He goes to see Bruce Banner. He gets to work on the inhibitor thingy. He's trying that out on himself. And then the villain, Jean Grey, who we find out is the villain, she ends up taking over, jumping. She announces her intention to jump into MJ. And so he gives chase. And then she does get inside MJ's head and like flings her off a building, and he just like barely saves her, and she wakes up and has no fucking clue who he is. So he's like, oh, I gotta get you to safety. So he takes her to Frank, and Frank's like booby trapped hideout, and they kind of have like some flirtations there. And then Spider-Man's like, okay, shit, I gotta go like stop Jean Grey because she's attacking the damage control headquarters. So he leaves. And MJ's like, Punisher, you should go help him out. They get there. Hulk has been, is there, and he's under Jean Grey's control. So Spider-Man and Punisher have to fight the Hulk. Ultimately, they're able to like knock Bruce Banner like out of, I don't know, into some type of recognition. And then he ends up like falling off a building. And then like they're like, oh, he's clearly like he's lost his mind now. And so let's take him to like a mental institution.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, he's able to stop Jean Grey by getting the inhibitor on her.
Right.
But then he realizes that Tremel Tillman's been lying to him, and that she only was trying to get to her sister, who he kidnapped and tortured her and made her do experiments and ultimately killed her.
I do have to say, the VMAX thing, it was kind of clever.
It was an interesting reveal because there's this whole thing like, oh, she's trying to find out about what does VMAX mean, and you think, okay, it's some type of top secret program, it's some type of like computer password, and it turns out it's literally just like the tape on the vent above the area where her sister was being held and died, and that's what she was trying to communicate to her.
The last thing she saw, VMAX.
The last thing she saw. That was a clever when that came back around.
Yeah. Also reminded me of Star Trek: The Motion Picture from 1979. Voyager was actually Voyager.
Yeah, that's true. Good callback. Then let's see. So that's when Spider-Man realizes, like, shit, I need to go. Well, and also at this point, MJ knows who he is. Like, she finds the letter.
Doesn't remember him, but yes.
Doesn't remember him, but she found the letter that he accidentally left behind that he wrote her and was going to give her before. So she knows, and she's like, you should talk to Ned. Like, we should be friends again. So he starts hanging out with them, and there's this kind of like cute thing where they're like building Legos and joking around. And then he's like, shit, Tremel Tillman was lying to me. I need to go help Jean Grey. So he goes to like rescue her. But meanwhile, she like gets even stronger because there's some type of like weird, I don't know what the hell they're doing to her, but they like trying to like harness her power and try to like transplant it. Like they're trying to like map what's going on in her brain when she's using her psychic powers to like try and give that ability to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
But she ends up getting stronger, and she takes control of like what, a quarter mile or a mile and a half or something of the city. So everyone's like stuck in this like weird bubble where they like can't move.
Well, she takes over basically all of Roosevelt Island, which is where the facility is, and little parts of Manhattan, and which MJ and Ned are in because they get stuck too.
Right. And there's this like weird bubble. Like there's a situation where there's a woman like walking her dog, and she's in the bubble and the dog's not, and the dog's like barking, but she's holding the leash inside the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
So then Punisher sees what's going on, and he races to like take out his like 50 caliber sniper rifle and is like aiming it at the building so he can shoot and kill Jean Grey. She's gotten the upper hand against Tremel Tillman. She's like holding him like hostage. Spider-Man gets in there after fighting a horde of the Red Ninjas.
Mm-hmm.
And also he takes off his inhibitor and realizes he needs to actually embrace his spider powers because his web shooters get like broken.
Yep.
And so he realizes, like, she says something like, you can't be Peter Parker and Spider-Man. And he's like, the hell I can't. I can be both. And then he's like, I'm going to embrace my spider powers. I'm going to use them as a strength instead of, letting them hold me back. And so, yeah, he fights his way back to her. He lets her inside his head so that she can see this memory he has of Aunt May, talking to him and saying, like, yeah, I know you're like powerful and you got all this stuff going on, but like you still have people that love you and for you, and you need to keep that in mind. And so they have a moment there. And so she ends up getting let go, but Frank shoots a bullet and Spider-Man shields her from it and he gets hit. And so she escapes, and then Spider-Man's in the hospital recovering. He wakes up and
how ballsy would it have been if they killed Spider-Man?
I know we were talking about this before the movie because there was like all these warnings like, don't spoil shit in the movie. Like, and there's a very strict embargo for this. And I looked at Dave and I was like, what if they kill Spider-Man? You're like, wow, that could be a bold choice. And I knew they weren't going to, but after he got shot, I was like, well, I don't know. I'm like, no, they're not going to kill him. Yeah, he wakes up in the hospital. There's a whole thing about how he's been wearing his mask the entire time. He doesn't want anybody to know who he is. He wakes up in the hospital without his mask on, and Punisher's there, and they have a moment. And then he's like, whenever you want to get out of here, I have a plan. And so, Peter Parker just walks out, wearing like a jacket, like a normal person. And then he's standing in the window. Punisher is wearing the Spider-Man, mask and gloves and whatever, and is like riling up the crowd of people who were like waiting like a vigil there.
Yeah.
And then what? The end is that like he's back out, he's recovering, he's with his friends again, and he's Spider-Man, but better, stronger Spider-Man because he's got people who care about him.
Yeah, and Jean Grey is on a bus going to upstate New York, it looks like.
Yeah, very clearly going to Professor Xavier's Academy for the Gifted. And that's the movie. There's like a weird post-credit sequence where you see Ned has invented something called Spider Tracker, where it's like he can see, wherever Spider-Man is, pops up in the city, and the Spider Tracker is like, oh, there's something, Spider-Man's appearing out in the middle of space, like location unknown.
I don't have any idea what that could be.
I don't really know either. I'm thinking some type of multiverse crossover thing. I don't know if it's like, they did that Madam Web movie, which I never saw. And I was like, is that a like link to Madam Web? Is it a link to...
Was that a Sony movie?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, is that a link to more like Miles Morales or, Spider-Gwen or something? I have no fucking clue what that's going to be about. Who knows? Question mark. Could be nothing. I mean, sometimes they do these post-credit sequences that don't amount to anything. Like they did one at the end sequence. Yeah, or there's the one at the end of, was it the last Thor movie where Brett Goldstein was Hercules? And you're like, okay, is that ever going to become anything? Probably not.
Yeah. Well, what did you think of this one? Aside from, it sounds like you're kind of like, nah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's all right. It's definitely not my favorite of these movies. I think I liked No Way Home a lot more. And I mean, that one definitely had the benefit of him teaming up with the other Spider-Men, like between Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, and all that was very fun. But this movie, it felt long. I looked at my watch because I was bored, and it was after 9, and I was like, damn, the movie's over 2 hours. Ugh. I hope it's wrapping up soon. And I just feel like there's a lot of like half explored ideas in here, or things that don't, like the whole Hulk thing feels like you could have just excised it from the movie. They really play up him fighting with the ninjas on like the posters and the marketing, and you think that's going to be a much bigger thing. And it is a very fun action sequence, I have to say. He's like fighting them inside this like caged prison atrium area, and that I think all works very well. But the action scenes are very uneven in this. Like some of them look like garbage. Some of them look good. I really like the focus on him swinging, like web swinging in this movie. That's a much like more explored thing. Like you see first person perspective. You see the part where he is trying to figure out his natural webbing. He has to like tell himself like web swing. You like hear him repeating it to himself like quietly. And all
it also
that
shows how
fun.
he breaks off the webs when he because in the cartoon and everything, he's shooting a web and he's swinging, then he's shooting a web and he's swinging, but you never see him like, how does he disconnect? And so it shows how he actually breaks the webs off so he can. It's like, oh, I finally explained that. I'm thinking about that since I was 8 years old.
Mm-hmm. It's a little bit gross too when he first starts secreting the fluid. Getting back to all your penis jokes at the beginning of the show.
All my penis jokes?
Yeah.
I think that you joined me on a couple of those.
I did. I'm teasing.
Yeah.
It felt very like gross and semeny when it first made its appearance.
All right.
But yeah, I mean,
I didn't say semeny at the beginning, for God's sake.
Sorry, I didn't say semen at all when we were talking about Hunt for Red October, so I feel like I had to get it in somewhere.
I did. I said Seaman Jones. Yeah.
That's true. I liked John Bernthal in this. I like him a lot. I enjoyed him as Punisher. And he's good at the like gruff bravado kind of thing.
He's better than Tom Jane, that's for sure.
Yeah. And it's clear that he really does like Peter, even though he's kind of a prick.
Yeah.
Like later, it felt real to me when he's like, you look exactly what I thought you would look like. A nice kid.
Yeah, that was a good line.
Yeah,
actually.
it felt legit. It felt like he meant it. And like it felt legit when he's like starts crying when he's like, I forget what he says, but he's
basically
crying.
I didn't mean to shoot you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm really sorry I shot you. He's like, "Are you crying?" He's like, "No, shut up." I thought that all worked very well, and I like Jacob Batalon and Zendaya as his close buds in this. Like they have chemistry. They're fun together. I thought Sadie Sink was pretty good. I just honestly didn't even recognize her. I forgot she was even in the movie. I was like watching this going, where do I know her from? And then they cut to like the flashback and it was so very clearly Sadie Sink. And I thought, oh, duh, that's who this is.
Well, she's wearing a hoodie the first time you see her. And I've never watched Stranger Things, or the only thing I think I've seen her in is she's in one of the Fear Street movies, right?
Right. Yeah. She's in those.
I think that's the only thing that I know her from. And so when they finally show her full head of hair, I'm like, oh, it's the ginger from Fear Street, whose name I didn't remember. Yeah. Like, all right, Sadie Sink, that's her name. I should be able to remember that because, alliteration.
Yeah.
I thought like once she was like captured, she was a lot better, I thought, at the intense stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All those scenes I thought were pretty compelling toward the end. But I feel like this movie is like a setup for like an X-Men movie or a setup for like other Marvel movies in a way that I found frustrating. Well, I mean, it's like ultimately where I come down on it.
Yeah, I mean the title's is a not very clever nod to all of that, right?
Right.
I mean, this kind of seems like maybe they're launching a whole bunch of new Marvel stuff from this.
Mm-hmm.
Which we were talking about this before we were recording. Ever since, what's the second one where they die and then they get resurrected in which one? Endgame?
Yes.
Yeah, which everything has kind of gone to shit since then. Now, I, as you know, have never been a huge fan of these movies. There are some that I like a lot and some that I don't like at all and some that I haven't seen.
Same.
And, for example, my favorite Marvel movie that I can remember is The Winter Soldier, which I feel like a lot of people are like, Winter Soldier? Really? But I feel like a lot of these movies are, they're all roughly the same, except the good ones are noticeably better in a way that you maybe can't quite put your finger on. Like the first Iron Man is really good because it's kind of scrappy and it's tense.
Yeah, first Captain America I think is good. Second one I think is even better, but the first one I think
that's
is
Winter
really
Soldier, right?
Yeah.
The second one, yeah. But then the Civil War, which is the third Captain America movie, right? That one kind of sucks, but that's when you first meet Spider-Man. And then I always thought that Tom Holland and Robert Downey Jr. had a good back and forth as Tony Stark and Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And once they finally figured out that Thor was funny, then that got a whole lot better. Because that first Thor movie is it's unwatchable, man.
The second one is even worse.
Really? I haven't seen that one, so.
Oh, it's so bad. Like the first one, some people really like it. I never was a fan of it, but the second one was horrendous. And then you're right. They figured out that Thor was funny when they crossed him over with the Guardians of the Galaxy and okay, that wasn't working for me.
Yeah. Yeah, but now that all that's, gone, I mean, we don't have James Gunn is not around to do Guardians of the Galaxy anymore. Chris Pratt's kind of a shithead anyway. And then I know that Robert Downey Jr. showed up at Comic-Con last year maybe, and there's going to be some new Tony Stark stuff tangentially, but
oh, he's playing Dr. Doom.
He's playing Dr. Doom. Okay.
Yeah.
Is Dr. Doom, which one is that?
He's one of the big villains of the Marvel universe.
Right,
I mean, he's the main antagonist for Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four, right.
But yeah, I think Avengers have fought him many, many times. But yeah, he's in it. And people are coming back. Chris Evans, I guess, is going to be in this one. And there's been some I guess Anthony Mackie has hinted that potentially Chris Evans is playing an iteration of Captain America called Nomad, where he was basically swore off being Captain America and was just a regular superhero because he was disillusioned by the US government or something. I have no clue if that's going to be what happens, but there's so many fucking people. They're bringing back people from the X-Men, the Fox X-Men movies. They're going to have Deadpool. They're going to have just a million different people.
It's all too much. Like, how are they going to bring Wolverine back? For one thing, Hugh Jackman's an old man now. You know, for another thing, like, what can you do? I mean, you're never going to, at this point, when you bring everybody back and do stuff like that, at that point, it becomes stunt casting after a while, right? Because who was famous when this series started? I mean, Robert Downey Jr. was famous, but he wasn't like Robert Downey Jr. He was kind of like, oh, he came back and he's been doing better. And then Iron Man, like, made him a fucking superstar, right?
Yeah.
And also one of the oldest leading men to play a comic book character, probably. And Chris Evans had like almost been a movie star for a while, and then he's a movie star because he's Captain America. And then, you know, you got, so all that stuff is going on. I guess Scarlett Johansson was probably already a movie star, right? But you know, you had all these great villains. Of course, Mickey Rourke was in the shittiest Iron Man movie, but that's okay. My point is, everybody was someone, and then they became even bigger. And now, when you bring them all back, like, what are you bringing them back for? It's more like for the shot in the arm than it is for the next logical step in the story. You know what I mean? It's like all stunt casting.
Totally. Right. What I liked about the Deadpool and Wolverine was that, like, all of those people were like trapped in that like weird dimension or something. So I felt like that was a fun way to revisit some of those characters. Like, oh, like Blade's trapped here, Elektra's trapped here. Like, let's like pull them out of the dustbin basically and make them relevant, because they've got to have like a last hurrah kind of.
Yeah. And that was fun. That was a fun, smart way to do it.
Right.
You know? I can't believe that Wesley Snipes did that, but, you know, because I didn't think he had a sense of humor about himself, but maybe he needed the money. I don't know. How long was he in prison for tax evasion?
He was there for a minute. I love that. I think after he got out, the Expendables movie like opened with them breaking him out of prison.
Funny. Anyway, I feel the same way as you in a lot of ways. Like, I really enjoyed this as I was watching it, but when I've been thinking about it in the 24 hours since I saw it, it's like, man, I don't really know how much it holds up.
Yeah.
It seems like I hadn't really thought about it in those terms, but when you said the whole thing with the Hulk, you just could have cut out. And I actually do think that's true. I think Peter could have completely found that on his own. And it's like, well, we got to put Ruffalo in it because we got to have a little more, you know, a little more oomph, you know,
right.
Because as we all know, Tom Holland can't carry movies on his own. And I mean, we saw The Odyssey, and now he's not the lead in that. But what did we agree about him in that?
He's not great.
He's the weak link.
Yeah.
He's the weak part of The Odyssey. And I think that's partly because the character is not written. He's kind of written to be a pussy, for one thing. But also, dialogue is not Christopher Nolan's long suit. So,
yeah.
You know. Anyway. Tom Holland does have charisma, though, and he can be really I think he's terrific as Peter Parker. You know,
yeah, he's great. I mean, I think he does the emotional parts of it well too.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, you know, when you're acting in a movie with your wife, that probably makes things a little bit more real between you and the character she's playing. So
yeah, they thankfully they have chemistry in real on screen in addition to the real life chemistry.
Yeah. So is that, I mean, who else has played Spider-Man? Andrew Garfield.
Yep.
And he and Gwen Stacy got together, IRL. And,
Emma Stone. Yeah.
And then Tobey Maguire and Mary Jane got together,
Kirsten
IRL.
Dunst.
Yeah.
Were they together in real life?
They were.
Huh.
Briefly, I think. I got to think about this because I don't want to, hold on. I think so. I'm going to look it up.
Okay.
But anyway, what I'm saying is there's a long line of Peter Parkers and whoever the woman is in the story getting together in real life. And hey, instead of like splitting up like all the other ones did, these two got hitched. That's kind of nice.
It is kind of nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy for those two crazy kids.
Oh, here we go. Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst famously starred as Peter Parker, Mary Jane Watson, in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy and dated briefly in real life from 2001 to 2002.
Huh. Yeah, not very long.
Yeah, not long. all I'm saying is she's pretty young, and he's not young.
Yeah. Well,
Comparatively.
it's true.
So,
But now
yeah.
she's with Jesse Plemons.
And she's older than he is. Scandal.
I
Scandal.
know.
I mean, like a year. Like, who gives a shit? So, speaking of Tobey Maguire, why doesn't he do movies anymore? Is it because no one will cast him, or because he just doesn't do movies anymore? Because he's like, fuck it, I was Spider-Man.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he kind of pops up in things when he wants to, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that he needs to work. I don't know how much taste he has for it.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing I remember seeing him in was the Spider-Man movie. All three of them were in. So, which I don't remember loving that movie, but I do remember loving the three of them being in it together. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We were talking to, there were some people who were talking outside the theater after the movie. Some people really didn't like that Florence Pugh showed up in this as Yelena. I was happy to see her in her scenes because she's just she's got a lot of charisma and she's very fun. And I think she does the accent quite well.
I love Florence Pugh, you know?
Yeah, I love her whole bit about her, like her office is the bathhouse in Spider-Man. She insists that Spider-Man get in the bath of water with her.
Yeah.
But he keeps the mask on and takes everything else off.
Yep.
So,
yep.
I liked her being in this. I like that she showed up. Although I missed the memo on when we started calling her Black Widow. I was like, I don't remember them saying that she's Black Widow now. I remember her like being in the Thunderbolts and like being a hero now, but I didn't remember them just switch to calling her Black Widow.
Oh, and what happened to Julia Louis-Dreyfus? Because the last time I remember seeing who we're now calling Black Widow, Florence Pugh, she was talking to Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah, that's right. Wasn't she? There was like that press conference where like, these are the new Avengers.
Yeah. I'm talking about in the movie when at the end of the Black Widow movie, after Scarlett Johansson dies, like, doesn't Julia Louis-Dreyfus show up in the park with Yelena
at
or
the cemetery?
Cemetery.
Yeah, no, I think I think she was working with them in the Thunderbolts movie.
I don't think I saw that.
Oh, you didn't see Thunderbolts?
Is that the one is David Harbour in it?
Yes.
But he's also in Black Widow, right? Like the whole...
Correct. Yeah, no, Thunderbolts is the one with, they team up with David Harbour and Winter Soldier, and they have like the anti-heroes that end up becoming the heroes.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't think I saw it. Was it good?
That's a shame. I enjoyed it quite a bit because the whole movie is like, these are like the undesirables and no one wants them, and these are like lonely people. And the movie is all about like fighting loneliness and being together and like fighting mental illness and loneliness as the villain. Like there's this whole thing at the end where they're like running around inside of Lewis Pullman's mind.
But that's the same plot as Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Yeah.
Boy. When did Marvel movies become Pixar movies?
I know, right?
Well, I don't really know how much more there is to say about it. I sort of feel like better than middle of the road, but nothing crazy, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think if you're wanting to see this, you're going to see this. But I think if you're not already invested in Spider-Man or the Marvel movies, then I can't say like, yeah, you really should go see this, because I don't think it's that fun of a time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's not like... Now, I didn't love Deadpool and Wolverine, but I liked it just enough to be like, yeah, it was worth to be like, sure. You like Hugh Jackman, you like Ryan Reynolds, go ahead.
Right.
Even if you're not into the Marvel stuff. But this one, it's kind of like, I don't know, Zendaya's barely in it. Like, do you like John Bernthal's shtick? If you do, I kind of like it less and less the more I see him. Yeah, I liked it when I didn't know who he was.
Yeah. John Bernthal has been very busy this year. He had that show with Tessa Thompson that was a hit on Netflix. He's in The Bear, the final season of The Bear. He has a Punisher like made for TV movie. He's in the fucking Odyssey, and he's in this.
Wait, who's he in the Odyssey? Oh, that's right. He's right. He's got a He's right.
Menelaus. He was great in that, I think.
Yes,
but that's because he's very dialed back from where he normally is.
very dialed back, and it was kind of for some. I don't remember the Odyssey, the story, the original story well enough, and I'm just thinking, when is this going to go south? And then it didn't go south, and I was like, okay, good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I just didn't really want to see him try to kill Tom Holland. So, anyway. Well, I mean, I have said all I need to say about this, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm talked out.
Okay. Well, then, folks, we're going to wrap it up. And we're going to say, I mean, this is a total your mileage may vary kind of picture, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I wouldn't say not to see it, but I'm also not giving like the most enthusiastic recommendation for it.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I mean, if you're like me and you can kind of take these movies or leave them, then you can probably leave it. But if you do see it, it's going to be like, oh, it's fine. It's going to be like,
all right. Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, folks, we just told you how we feel about it. So we thanked our sponsor piece patron, Heather, at the beginning. So now we're going to thank our editor, Otto Clammer. Otto, thank you so much for editing the show each week.
Yeah, it's so awesome that you do that.
It really is.
I'm glad I don't have to edit my own show anymore.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad you don't have to edit either. I say that as a gag because both Evan and I took long turns editing the show. So we both know what it's like. You can find Spoiler Piece Theater anywhere you get podcasts. Our website is spoilerpiece.com. On social media, we're Spoiler Piece Theater on Facebook, and we're at Spoiler Piece on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, and Blue Sky, and Threads. And yeah, if you want to email us, please do that. Our email address is spoilerpiece@gmail.com. Let us know what you think about Spider-Man Brand New Day. And if you like the show, please rate and review us by going to ratethispodcast.com/spoilerpiece, or you can rate us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. That's a great thing to help us out. If you give us a 5-star, fucker, not you specifically who I'm talking to now.
Not you, listener. You are not the fucker.
You are not you're the anti-fucker. So,
yeah.
You know,
if you're still listening to the show, you are definitely not a fucker.
That's right. And if you really, really like the show, please consider joining our Patreon. We told you at the beginning, but we'll tell you again now. We are covering The Hunt for Red October to honor the late Sam Neill. And it's a lot of fun. It's $5 a month to be a patron. There's a poll every month. There's extra movies we talk about each month, usually older stuff, so you've probably seen it as opposed to the new stuff like we do here. Yada, yada, yada. You get the idea. My name is Dave Riedel. I'm a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association. My social medias are all Dave Sees Movies, except for Twitter, where I am X can suck a dick, DIK.
My name is Evan Crean. I'm co-chair of the Boston Online Film Critics Association, co-author of your 80s Movie Guide to Better Living, and co-host of the It's a Pictures podcast. You can follow me on social media as Real Recon, and that's real as in film reel.
Yep. We'll see you next week, gang.
Bye.